Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Frank Kelly. I'm a sales account manager with Storm Technology. I'm joined today by my colleague James Donoghue, a senior CRM consultant. Today we are going to tell you about Storm's vision of the digital enterprise with particular emphasis on the digital customer engagement. This is going to take approximately 30 minutes. We appreciate you spending the time with us. Before I hand over to James, I would like to take a few minutes to give you a brief overview of today's objectives and a company overview of Storm. So today, we're going to be covering the role of the digital enterprise, today's digital customer expectations, and how to bridge the gap with Dynamics 365. Leaving today, you should be able to understand the importance of the digital enterprise in the context of your customers and understand how Dynamics 365 and its capabilities can help you support that. Storm Technology is an Irish-owned technology and solutions provider with a focus on productivity in the enterprise space and enabling our customers to maximize their return from their investment in technology. We have an expansive range of business solutions and services. Our customers are drawn from a wide range of commercial and public sector organizations, and we focus on enabling their employees to maximize their efficiency and effectiveness through digital technology. We have over 300 solutions. Storm have been working in this area in the last 20 years. We have designed, developed and implemented, as I said, over 300 business solutions in 90 loyal clients, with over 100 staff members, most of whom are involved in delivery of customer projects and support, and we operate from our offices in Dublin City Centre and in Galway. So before I hand you over to James, I'd just like to go through the 4 pillars of the digital transformation that we in Storm envisage as our vision. The digital employee. Staff want to be served and enabled as if they were at home. They're looking for cloud, mobile devices. They want to be on the move, engaging with customers, allowing them to be more agile whilst driving business and ideas. The digital operation, supporting the digital employee. Companies and staff want the technology solutions like cloud and mobile and application modernization in order to support the digital employee. Digital intelligence, data. We're going to be talking about the importance of being a data-driven organization and how data can help support and drive businesses. And then finally, the digital customer engagement. And at this point, I would like to hand you over to my colleague, James Donoghue, who will be driving the presentation.
Thank you, Frank. Good morning, everyone. So just to continue where Frank left off on the topic of the digital enterprise, I just want to relate this back to how it affects your customers and more so your customers' experience when they engage with you. In the past, organizations who try to improve customer satisfaction may have done so at the expense of productivity within the organization. And as you're aware, this can be quite time-consuming unless you have the right tools, systems, and processes in place. And this is what digital transformation brings to the table for organizations. It provides the tools which enable your employees to engage with your customers effectively, automate aspects of the customer engagement process, which works twofold. It improves your customer experience, which in turn increases customer satisfaction, and it improves productivity within your organization. This is achieved by using clearly defined processes which aid in providing a consistent and personalized customer experience, but at the same time providing the agility to adapt and accommodate to the ever-changing needs of your customers, because whatever is the norm today may become outdated tomorrow by a new technology or trend. What I aim to do over the next 25 minutes or so is to elaborate a bit more on this and show you how you can empower your organization to deliver this digital customer experience using Dynamics 365. So if we look at the digital landscape in Ireland, we're actually more advanced than we give ourselves credit for. You know, if you look at the statistics, 87% of Irish people are online. 90% of over 25 access the internet by mobile phone. In a recent study by ADEX on the growth of the digital ad spend in Europe, Ireland actually topped the poll with a 29% surge in digital ad spend in 2015, which equated to 340 million. Interestingly enough, 40% of that was actually spent on mobile advertising. And again, if you look at the internet economy value is going to reach 21.1 billion in 2020, which is 150% growth, over a 6-year period. And then if we look on, if we look at add social into the mix, there's some very interesting insights here too. 2.5 million use Facebook. That's almost 56% of the Irish population, which is currently around 4.6 million at the minute. Users spend on average just over 5.5 hours a week on Facebook alone. And if you look at the likes of Snapchat, we're in the top 3 of countries in terms of usage, on a par with the likes of USA and UK. So that leads me on to identifying, some of the main characteristics of your customers today. So, your customer today is technology savvy. That infographic there just proves this. They're always connected. So, how many of you, check your emails while eating breakfast in the morning before you head to work? Use your phone in public transport, or even on the train. So even the next time you're on the train, just have a look around and see how many people actually have their heads buried in their phones. And chances are you're going to be 99% of people are. And your customers, they are more informed and more empowered than ever before. 78% of shoppers research online and purchase offline. Consumers now are looking to seek some sort of social approval before they purchase as well. Socially savvy customers tend to have clout. What clout means is that the reach they have in terms of audience, the number of friends, followers. You see these vloggers and Snapchatters that review products nowadays. They have followers in the masses, and they have the influence and are likely to have people listen to their opinions. And all it takes is one tweet, post, or Snapchat to significantly damage your brand. And you have to be able to respond to this quickly to mitigate against it and reduce the negative impact that it might cause. So our customers, also expect a consistent, efficient, and personalized omni-channel experience. Be it phone, email, social, or SMS. Regardless of the channel, they expect that consistency and personalization. And consumers, they expect their needs to be met instantly. People are so used to getting answers very quickly. They literally just take out their phone and search on Google. And when it comes to things like customer care and getting feedback from organizations, they expect that to be the same as well. They expect instant results. And then our customers, they're leaving clues and they're leaving a trail of digital footprints. And these digital footprints include data about what they clicked on your website, what they searched for, what they liked, where they went, their location, their IP address, what they said, and what they said about you. And all this data can and is being used in behavioral and target marketing. The avalanche of customer data, this avalanche of customer data is key to understanding a customer's present state, which is the precursor to being able to develop and deliver relevant experiences. And lastly, customers are easily turned off by marketing mistakes. If you've ever got an email that's marketing emails that's completely irrelevant, I mean, the first thing I know I do is I unsubscribe. So organizations can't afford to be making those mistakes because it's hard enough to actually acquire your customer, yet alone keep them. So when we talk to customers. Some of the, we work with a number of different organizations that operate across multiple different industries and sectors, and we've identified some of the common hurdles that are holding them back. I'm sure most of you probably relate to at least one, if not more, of these issues. So the first one is disconnected legacy systems. In the past, organizations tend to have a separate system for each business function. We could take, for example, marketing. They could use things like MailChimp and SurveyMonkey. The sales team might use Excel sheets or some sort of a CRM system. and then operations will have their own ERP systems, and then you throw customer care into the mix, and they have their own system, and then scattered around as well, you have Excel sheets, access databases, documents being stored on network drives, and so on. So it's a kind of a fragmented state in terms of where your systems and your data are stored, which leads us on to data quality. Poor data quality due to undefined processes for capturing and validating that data. And sometimes, with the sheer volume of the separate systems and the volume of data, it can become quite unmanageable. And if you try to consolidate some of that data from these different systems, it may be difficult due to things like different data models and data sets, depending on the systems that you use. So again, this leads into the inability to segment your marketing and execute target marketing. With siloed systems and poor data, can lead to fragmented communication. Not being able to segment your data means that campaigns tend to be more generic, because you don't have that micro level detail to target specific customer segments based on their buying trends. So essentially what you're doing, some organizations are just flinging mud at the wall and seeing what sticks, and the content isn't relevant or personalized. You also run the risk of over communicating to your customers, because if customer care are sending out emails, but then sales are sending out emails and marketing are sending out emails, it can be very hard to keep track of how many, all the touch points. And there's under communication, but there's also over communication considerations. And where it gets difficult is, it's okay for marketing, because if they say, for example, buy a purchase marketing list where they can just send out an email to a list of leads. But when you're actually trying to communicate to your existing customers, it becomes increasingly hard, because all that information that we just mentioned in the legacy systems is all disconnected, and you don't have that connected view of the customer. Which leads on then to reporting and metrics. And it's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. If the data is of poor quality, then the reports are going to be likewise. So typically, if you wanted to get a glimpse of the truth, you would require probably half a day to extract a number of Excel sheets and try and slice and dice and merge the data to get the right report or pivot charts. And even at this, it may not be 100% accurate. And then it's the inability to get a dynamic view of the data in real time. So if you have a sales meeting on a Monday, you're probably doing the same thing every Monday morning that consumes 2 or 3 hours of your time. And even at that, it may not be 100% accurate. And that inability to get a dynamic that dynamic view of the data, is just laborious. And even things like determining ROI and marketing spend can be difficult and a best guess in circumstances, because the data is disconnected. A lot of organizations find it hard to say, well, did my marketing spend generate customers? And it's very hard to do that, and a lot of the times it's just merely a best guess. There's no actual tangible metrics behind to say, well, we spent X on our marketing campaign and we got Y in terms of new customers. And last but not least is what we're noticing in a more recent hurdle in the last 4 years is organizations are realizing that customers are expecting an omni-channel engagement, and they don't have the tools or the processes to provide this. And if they could, and if they try to do it with their legacy systems, it requires a large amount of development, which the cost-benefit analysis just isn't there. And all these hurdles directly impact the ability for organizations to the digital customer journey that customers come to expect nowadays, which is that in order to do that, you need that connected customer view, identifying all the touch points to make sure that all communications are relevant and personalized. So why does this matter? If we look at some of the statistics, 67% of customers mention bad experience as a reason for going elsewhere. And then if we say, look at 72% of customers will share a positive experience with 6 or more people. So you can actually reap the rewards of providing a great customer experience. It's not just a nice to have, it actually is beneficial. But more interestingly, it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to satisfy and retain an existing customer. And that's probably a conservative figure, because a lot of surveys suggest it could be in the range of 7 to 10 times more, depending on the industry that you're in. So we can see that providing a great customer experience is more than just a nice to have. It's imperative for survival in the digital age, and organizations must evolve to ensure they meet the needs of their customers. So, how can you do this? What can you do? How can you provide this digital customer engagement for today's customers? Here in Storm, we've kind of identified 4 core elements that your business needs to focus on. And we'll go into these in a bit more detail in the next couple of slides. But firstly is engage your customers. So you need to engage with your customers. But firstly, you need to understand how they like to engage. Is it email? Is it SMS? Is it phone? Is it web or social? And then you need to engage with them on a platform that they are most responsive, interactive, and comfortable with. Next, you need to empower your employees to deliver that customer experience to your customers. In order for you to engage across the various different platforms, you must provide the right tools and systems to your employees. And then optimizing your operations to deliver that superior customer experience to your customers. So consistency is important. So using defined processes to guide your employees and using automations in circumstances where human interaction may not be necessary will aid in mitigating against inconsistent customer experience. And then, we look at the customer behavior analytics, using that rich customer data to make informed business decisions, because organizations nowadays are becoming more data-driven. So we're going to talk about engaging with your customers, but firstly, before you engage with your customers, you need to define your customer journey. What does that look like? So identifying your touch points is the first step towards creating a customer journey map and making sure your customers are satisfied every step of the way. Knowing your touch points is only half the battle. To improve customer satisfaction, you need to make sure each touch point leads to a good customer experience and that the journey as a whole delivers on customers' expectations. So once you have identified your touch points, you can then engage with your customers. So, if we look at the different networks in which customers engage with you and you can engage with your customers, social, we have SMS, we have email, we have the web, and typically we have phone. So Dynamics 365, if we address each one of these, Dynamics 365 provides social analytics and social listening through Microsoft Social Engagement, and which provides the ability to monitor what your customer or prospective customer are saying about you across the social channels such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and even blogs. And then it can provide sentiment analysis to determine how your brand is perceived, if it's positive or negative. It also has intent analysis, so it can actually determine based on the post whether the customer if it's an information request, if it's a purchase, if it's a complaint, if it's a support request. And you can actually respond to customers directly on whatever social network that they have communicated on. So you can actually retweet back from within Microsoft Social Engagement. You can send a Facebook post, etc. And then we look at SMS. Dynamics 365 provides the capability for push notifications. And SMS is a very powerful communication medium, because if you think about it, there's no spam folder in SMS. And according to the Digital Marketing Magazine, people read 98% of text messages and usually respond to them within 90 seconds. So it's often a very overlooked network to communicate with your customers. Then if we look at email campaigns, the ability to kind of send HTML-rich emails to your customers and identify, provide functionality such as click heat map to see where your customers are actually engaging within the email and how you can improve that. It provides analytics on deliverability such as open rates, bounce rates, unsubscribes. Content in the emails can be dynamic, that's personalized directly to the individual, that it surfaces information onto the email that comes from their customer record. So you're delivering that personalized message. And then you can send things like you can send out customer satisfaction surveys as well, which kind of keeps you in tune with, are your customers happy, and make sure, that you're constantly evolving and providing that customer experience that your customers are looking for. And then when we look at the web, Dynamics 365 has web portals. So typically they can be used for things like logging in for looking at your customer care cases. Customers tend to nowadays look for the information themselves. They don't want to pick up the phone and talk to someone. They want the ability to actually go in and check the status of their cases without talking to anyone. And web portals are the functionality that can provide that with Dynamics 365. We also look at integrating with, your web forms. Dynamics 365 can integrate with your existing web forms, to facilitate a web to lead process. And then obviously once they're created, the record is, someone submits the form, the record is created in CRM. There's a call to action in CRM, so you can set up workflows that notifies people for follow-up actions, or maybe they're put into, a campaign automation flow. And then we look at the web analytics. So we talked about the digital footprint that customers are leaving. Having, all that information tracked on the pages that they visit, the products that they viewed on your website, tracked back in against the customer record, provides, invaluable information to allow you to actually go and target specific demographics within your customer base based on what they're looking at and the products they're looking at. And then, we look at the omni-channel, customer care. So people, are looking for, if we think about traditionally in the past, it was someone rang up customer care and they got an issue resolved, or, now it's coming in through email, it's coming in through social channels, and Dynamics 365 provides the ability actually to receive customer communications and regard them as cases in Dynamics 365, but also they can actually communicate back out. If we look at the likes of social engagement, you can actually create cases from tweets or posts. So it's providing that, omni-channel customer care facility. So the next step we want to look at is empowering your employees. So if we think about, the different areas within Dynamics 365 that can help, we think about mobility. Native mobile phone and tablet apps ensure that no matter where your employees are, they can readily access and have up-to-date information. We're currently working with a client who is providing tablets to all their sales reps to ensure that when they go for a customer meeting, they have up-to-date information, and that the context of the meeting is relevant, that they're not rocking into a meeting and misinformed on the information. They're actually seeing live real-time data on the customer. And then following the meeting, then they'll use the notes and appointments follow-up tasks to ensure that there's consistency in that they're actually following up on the meeting actions. And what that means for the customer, it provides that experience that it's these guys are very professional. They come in, they know exactly what they need to talk about, they have all the information, but then they're also following up on me in a timely fashion. And then if we look at Outlook, Dynamics 365 integrates with Outlook. So communication to the customer can be tracked through Outlook. You can surface Dynamics 365 email templates, which can be used to ensure consistent and professional look and feel. Dynamics 365 can be accessed directly from within Outlook itself, enabling employees to be more responsive. So, if a customer emails in, they can actually pull that information very quickly. They're not navigating to different windows to try and get the information, which means they can respond to customers quickly, which in turn will improve customer satisfaction. And then we look at things like relationship health monitoring. Dynamics 365 is actually backed by artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms that come as a built-in feature in Dynamics 365. And what it does is it calculates the health of each relationship, such as calculating the time spent with the customer or warning if too much time has passed between the last interaction with clients. And ultimately, this helps them to be more productive in their daily tasks. So they're focusing on, what they need to focus on at that particular time, which ensures that, again, it leads back to that customer satisfaction. And then if we look in the context of, say, customer care, there's like an integrated knowledge base, where relevant content for certain queries or issues can be stored and consumed by customer care agents. They have the ability to both search and receive automated suggestions based on text in the case title. And this ensures consistent communication is sent to the customers regardless of what agent is looking at the case. And it reduces the time to resolve the case because the information is readily available. Again, this all lends to improving the customer satisfaction. And then when we look at the reports and metrics that Dynamics 365 provides, it can provide various elements of your business with real-time, up-to-date data, which can quickly identify things such as cases approaching near non-compliance of an SLA, quotations which are due out next week, and any appointments with customers or appointments that have not been met. So in terms of management, you can actually see that are your employees performing, because you're after providing them with the tools, so they need to follow up with their customers to make sure, again, that continuous consistency in the customer experience. We also thought, there's also a deep integration with Office 365, with Dynamics 365. So, you can use Excel and Word templates. You can consume Excel within Dynamics 365 itself. It has OneNote integration, the Yammer functionality, in which you can collaborate socially within the organization on various different opportunities and deals. And then for document management, you have OneDrive and SharePoint integration out of the box, which means that you can upload your documents, relevant documents, against the customer record and access them directly within Dynamics 365. And then there's Skype for Business, for telephony communication. So it's really embedded in the Microsoft stack, in that the seamless integration between Office 365 and leveraging that with Dynamics 365 to aid in providing that customer experience, but also improve productivity. The next step then is about optimizing your operations. So intelligent processes, predictive guidance, automating the engagement process to provide a consistent customer experience. So if we looked at things like campaign automation, you can Dynamics 365 provides the ability to run nurture programs, which essentially are call to actions based on customer interaction. So if someone fills out a web form, they can actually go into a campaign automation flow in which that they're sent a follow-up email, and it waits to see if they maybe respond or click a link, and then they follow into a different flow. So what that does is it ensures the consistency, that everyone gets the same consistent experience, right to the point where there's a call to action from like human interaction. So a lot of the time, marketing can be very laborious in that they're sending emails, they're tracking emails, whereas campaign automation can, look after all this for you. And, when the customer is essentially sales ready, that, the sales team are notified to say, look, these 10 people have passed through the campaign automation, and now they're at a point in time where we can actually reach out and contact them, and it's relevant. We look at things like business process flows, which can be used to guide users at the various different predefined processes that can guide users at the various different intervals and communication points with the customer. Typically, your customers don't want to divulge all their information in one go. So, if you define captures the information by piecemeal, by the end of the process, you will have a full customer profile. But then on the back of these business processes, there's business rules for actually call to action. So if depending on there's things like branch logic to determine, well, if the customer is interested in one type of product or another, you can actually notify certain individuals. Maybe there's more follow-up actions or more information required depending on the product they're looking at. And then we look at things like customer insights, which is again backed by this artificial intelligence and machine learning, which the service is built on the Cortana Intelligence Suite and takes advantage of Dynamics 365 Common Data Model. It collects data from a variety of sources such as Microsoft's own productivity software ecosystem, Office 365 or ERP solutions, social and web sources, and then provides a holistic view of your customers by scrutinizing sentiments, number of emails exchanged, email content, frequency of contact, and the time spent with customers. So it shows the interaction history and all the various touch points in the timeline view. Again, it calculates the health of each relationship, such as calculating the time spent with the customer or warning if too much time has passed between the last interaction with the clients, and ultimately help them to be more productive and reach out to the customers that they need it most at the right time. It can also be used to determine the RFM score, the recency, frequency, and monetary value. When did they last purchase? How often did they purchase? How much did they typically spend? And this in turn helps calculate the lifetime value of the customer, which in turn helps you to identify your loyal customers, and harness that, and promote that customer loyalty to maintain your customer base. And then, we look at Microsoft Flow, which is, a workflow management tool for automating workflows across the applications, not just Dynamics 365. It can be used for things like automated approvals, sending and receiving notifications, synchronizing files, or connecting data. A typical example would be, to generate an alert for, say, a negative comment left on social media, that someone from customer care is alerted to say, look, you need to reply to this. There's a negative sentiment in the email. So, and then, we come to the last point about customer behavior analytics. So it's all that information that we're after talking about. There's a lot of very rich information there. So you need to make data-driven business decisions, innovate with new business models, and shift from reactive to proactive faster. So, if we think about all the data that we're capturing, it's invaluable. You can actually see, holistically view across your business and see, what products are, the most popular. You can identify trends, such as if, we've done proof of concepts in the past where we've done, if you're ever on Amazon, you see, you make a purchase. Before you check out, there's kind of a list of, well, if you bought this, you're more than likely, you're interested in this. And we've worked with data sets where we actually can predict, groupings of products where, you can actually be proactive, engage your customer to say, look, we think you might be interested in this. Like, global economies are constantly affected by a variety of factors. Like, there's new markets are being shaped by demographic and behavioral shifts. New types of customers and dynamics and behaviors are shaping commerce in unpredictable ways. And organizations have to be able to identify and react to this. So if you look at the likes of Kodak and Nokia, who once were leaders, giants in fact, who appear to be almost invincible in their respective sectors, who failed to identify the changing dynamic of their industry and their customer behaviors and demands, and as a result were essentially left behind. So using fact-based decisions to drive your business strategy, powered by analytics, applied to rich data, enables your organization to more accurately define your strategy and be successful. So if we look at the data, here we can see the all-up view of your data in the system, but we also have that rich customer-centric information as well. What that'll do is, you can identify your customer buying behavior. You can become more proactive rather than reactive. So if you take, for example, you have a product that has a lifespan of 2 years, you can actually go out and be proactive and engage with your customer, because you identify trends in that, instead of waiting for your customer to come back to you, you can actually reach out to them. And that kind of reinforces their understanding that, yes, they actually know what I want, they know my needs, and they understand, what I want. And then that helps to identify cross-sell and upsell opportunities. So, we mentioned about, the proof of concepts that we're working on suggested products. So having that data enables you to do that. And then being able to expand your product or service offering to cater for your customer's needs. So it's about being agile enough to change, because it's an ever-changing industry, and you need to be able to keep up and evolve with that. So if we look at, let's talk about the Dynamics 365 advantage. Dynamics 365 brings together a unique set of capabilities for organizations. So Dynamics 365 is purpose-built with applications that fit roles, industries, and businesses. So organizations can start and only pay for what they need and grow at their own pace, and run their entire business in the cloud. Productive. It's enabling greater productivity where people need it by seamlessly integrating with familiar tools such as Outlook and Excel and Word, and surfacing them in context of business processes, roles, and jobs. And then intelligence. delivering built-in intelligence with business processes that infuses big data, advanced analytics, and the Internet of Things proactively guide employees and customers to optimal outcomes. And then adaptable, enabling organizations to transform at the speed of business. Businesses can change and evolve their processes in real time using a modern, consistent, and extensible platform, so they're not being held back by legacy technology. So, I'm going to wrap up. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining, and I'm just going to hand you back to Frank now.
James, thank you. Excuse me, James. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure you all found that very useful there. James covered an awful lot of points there from the digital landscape and how we use technology ourselves in Snapchat, Facebook. I was very surprised at some of the stats that James mentioned there. We're very, as a nation, we're very social savvy. I also could communicate with the common hurdles of disconnected systems, poor data, omni-channel. No more important at this time of the year, Christmas. We all want to be served by our providers at whether we're commuting to work, whether we're sitting in the office, whether we're having lunch, whether it's on our iPad or mobile phone, at our desktop. So we all want to be serviced in exactly the same way as if we were walking into the shop front, and we want exactly the same customer experience. Interesting points and some interesting stats there. 67% of the people will go elsewhere if they receive a bad customer experience, and they'll tweet that out, and that will go out to 12 to 15 people. So obviously bad news travels fast, and I'm sure we've all experienced it ourselves. If we do get good customer experience, we become loyal customers to a particular brand or a particular company. We touched on there the Dynamics 365, about the Microsoft social engagement, how you can listen in, how you can retweet, empowering your staff by mobility integrated knowledge bases, which is very good because, again, there's nothing worse than ringing a company and giving them all your information and then being passed through to another department and having to repeat yourself, having to explain why you're ringing up, where if you have an integrated knowledge base, obviously you're serving your customer a lot better. Optimization, reading customer behavior, integration again, I come back to that integration again, where we can integrate with web portals and good customer insights. So as I say, we covered an awful lot there, and I thank you very much to James, and we hope you found today's webinar of interest, and I'd like to thank you for joining us. What's next? Customer engagement. If you're interested in finding out more about how to start or progress or your organization on its own digital customer engagement, be that bold end-to-end enterprise digital transformation program or the development of a single digital business application, we would like to invite you to talk to us further or come and join us for a customer engagement workshop. We would like to customer engagement workshop which would be tailored, specifically designed for your business, where we will do a deep dive into strategies, technologies and user adoption approaches that can help you along your digital journey. The workshop can be designed to focus in all or one of the following areas depending on your unique needs of your business. So we can talk about the end-to-end digital engagement, digital intelligence, digital operations and a digital employment engagement. My email address there, if any of you would like, you can contact me if they've got any queries in relation to what we covered today, and I will be in touch with you in the coming days. Thank you very much. Bye.